Run graphic up, pop that there. There we go for you. Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopon here, watching these storms out in Bolivar County. Severe thunderstorm warning now in effect until 1:45 a.m. We've been watching this here behind the scenes, trying to debate how deeply we wanted to cut in on this one here. Don't know we're going to stay on a super long period of time, but again, watching this storm here approaching the Cleveland area. Some hail on this. Again, a lot of cloud to ground lightning strikes on this, moving toward Cleveland and locations there. Again, in the Mississippi Delta, near Shelby, where this is. We have a camera there we'll look at here in a minute. This storm has been ongoing for quite a while. We'll actually make this a 1 hour loop to double check how far it's kind of moved, but it's got a little bit more forward motion on it of late. And again, that might not be the exact distance. Let's double check that. Yeah, about 20-25 miles per hour or so, the speed it's moving right now. So we show that, again, prompting a severe thunderstorm warning there. Bolivar County, hail and wind potential out of this, maybe 60 mile per hour winds and 1 inch hail. The discussion from the folks over at the National Weather Service in Jackson. So, again, I know we have some folks kind of waking up with us here in the middle of the night, and appreciate y'all's patience as we kind of go through and check some of this here. But we place it now, we're about 10 miles away from Cleveland. We do have some cameras out here we can kind of sample this with. So Cleveland, just for you before we pop that up, again, we're looking about 1:55 a.m. for you, about the time that storm arrives where you're at there. I'll bring it back here in the digital room-to-room weather center here for a moment. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopon. You're watching Mississippi Live Weather. Let's get our camera shot there from Cleveland. I might have to swing this back around just a little bit. So that's obviously approaching the low-hanging stuff, as you can see there, kind of in the foreground. Again, some strong gusty winds and probably some hail with this moving in. We're looking northwest. So the low-hanging stuff here, I want to emphasize this very clearly. No tornadoes out of the thunderstorms tonight. This is going to be hail. I'll try to keep that graphic a little lower there as we're looking kind of in the leading edge of this, looking back to the northwest. I'm going to actually pan this a little bit back to the left there. And it's nearly nonstop lightning. You have what we call a shelf cloud there in the foreground. That's caused by the rain-cooled air kind of moving toward Cleveland, toward you. A lot of lightning, so we do expect some power disruptions possible out of this as the storm moves there through Bolivar County. But again, severe thunderstorm warning for you until 1:45 a.m. And again, current time is 1:31 a.m. And so, again, maybe additional warning could eventually be necessary on this, but this kind of a short-term, short fuse warning on the hail and wind potential as that approaches folks there in Cleveland. Another camera just upstream from that, pretty much in it, pretty close to in it there, is in Shelby, which we expect, as you can see, nearly nonstop lightning out of this as well in the Shelby area. I'm going to pan this camera maybe just a little bit. I see all my cameras here looking pretty well lit up, Clarksdale and all the rest of them as well. Depending on the angle we've got. Shelby, obviously, it's nonstop lightning there. So we're looking kind of north. So let's swing this back around to the west. Again, looking into heavy rainfall and nearly nonstop lightning there. Bolivar County under a severe thunderstorm warning until 1:45 a.m. Power disruptions. They're going to obviously have some of those likely out of this there. Let's kind of pull that down a little bit more. But I mean, it's nearly nonstop lightning. So for folks waking up, I would say that this one has potential for some strong winds, some large hail. But, you know, when you have nonstop lightning like this, it just want to be clear that there's a little more bark than bite here with this. Watching for folks behind the scenes. Not in that area, but thanks anyway. Appreciate that. So watching, again, some folks ask some questions there on YouTube. We'll try to answer as many of those as we can as they kind of come in. Appreciate everybody for watching us on the various forms of social media and that y'all are watching, as well as the Mississippi Live Weather app. But a lot of lightning with this, clearly one of the biggest issues that we have. Evaluating this and the hail potential on this as well, going to kind of clear everything off here on Mama Justice Doppler radar for a moment. Near Clifford, again, that's we were looking in Shelby, which is right there, and then all these lightning strikes here. The ones flashing a lightning strike, cloudy ground lightning strikes just in the last couple of minutes. I think last 2 minutes on the lightning strike. So it's just tons of cloud to ground lightning, nearly nonstop. Very electrical storm. There's just a lot of humidity that this is eating up. And so when that happens, you get a lot of lightning. We'll have to look 3D, and we're getting a long, long ways away from all of our different radar sites, unfortunately. So we're not going to have a super solid look at this. But every one of them showing a lot of heavy rainfall. We'll cut it down to see where that hail is. Well, that probably is some severe hail with where we're depicting that there. Because we're so far away, we don't always... Let's check at a couple different spots. So that's looking from the Jackson radar site. This is looking from Monroe County, so not depicting that there. Not all the way from Memphis, sort of seeing it. So we're going to stick with Jackson for a moment here. And we'll get an idea if we can slice through this. But near the Malvinia area there, you see, and that doesn't show it super high. And I disagree with what we're seeing there on the height. So I'm going to have to check a different radar. Just give me a moment to double check this. Yeah, see, that's misplaced on this graphic because of how far away from the radar site it is. Let's look at this a different way here. Kind of a sort of grodier version of Mama Justice Doppler. Maybe that's not the nicest way to say it, but because we're so far away, that hail core, we're showing up at 20,000 feet. You know, a lot of times we show this extending all the way to the ground because we're just looking, I mean, this is so high. We're almost at that, almost 20,000 feet up for the lowest that we're able to see it. That's just how far away we are. That's a long, long distance. That's from Columbus. Let's go and switch this over to the site out of Jackson. I just need to verify. Okay, there we are. That's a little more accurate. Yeah, so 15 to 20,000 feet. Slice into this here. Yeah, about 15,000 feet out of 65 dBz return. That's probably, that typically has been close to 1 inch hail. Yeah, so not unreasonable to have inch or larger hail out of that. That is what is, again, approaching Pace and Clifford right now. And obviously Cleveland, you're in the path of where that's eventually going here. So kind of this whole track there. Let's double check that angle again. Put this on a 30-minute loop here. We'll go and change this back over to this version. You're watching Mississippi Live Weather. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopp on here in middle of the night action. But, you know, apologize we're not all prettied up for it here, but much rather cut in than get pretty and not. Yeah, I think the angle, that probably stays a little bit west of Cleveland, despite what the kind of warning box here looks like. This is our batch here. I'm going to say 20-ish. We'll say 22, sure, for that batch heading south. So severe thunderstorm warning, Bolivar County for a little less than 10 minutes there. You could see some locations in advance of this. And, you know, we have a lot of folks going to ask about their specific location in the chat. We'll talk about Pontotoc here in a second. I see Gina Austin there asking about that. We'll look at Pontotoc in a second. All the severe weather, the strongest storms are going to be west of you. We can clearly say that. It's the folks here in this track that we're most concerned with there. Nimitz Landing about 148, Dermot 145 there. Mound City, again, there's a lot of Mound Cities out there. This is not the Mound City, Union County there. Utah, we're looking about 154 for you. The Arkansas City, Arkansas City, as we'd say in Kansas, but obviously not Kansas. We're looking there for you at close to around 203, and then Benoit at 157. But man, I mean, nothing I think tells the story better than what we have here in Shelby, and just the 100% nonstop lightning that is coming out of this storm. It is very electric as of this time. Again, what's probably one of the things that's probably causing some power disruptions out of this as well. I'll look from Clarksdale, and I don't know that we've got a great angle on this. I'm going to swing Clarksdale back, and you'll again see some of the same lightning strikes probably out of this storm there. It kind of lit up and kind of has more of a glow to it because it's looking through all the rain. As we're looking from Clarksdale back toward the south and west. See if we'll get that to autofocus. Try that again. Looks like that focus is locked tonight. Let's bring it in closer and go down to, I've been watching it. It had some definition on the storms here in Cleveland a little bit ago, is that sort of shelf cloud has moved into town, and obviously right at 70. So it's just, kind of for the dew, they're kind of eating up the moisture. Again, on the west side of town, if this line can go, might pan our camera up just so again, it stormed there north of west on that camera shot. So I'm going to the left just a little bit. So this is what we're looking at here, is that kind of low-hanging shelf cloud. Sometimes we refer to what's sort of already gone over the storm to the west. So despite the fact that hanging stuff on this is not, that is, I wish I could just go left and right if there's on this. Oh, let's try that. There we go. That's what I actually need. Oops, a ton of lightning on that one. Can appreciate our partners there at North Mississippi working with us on this camera network here. Someone mentioned I should try V-necks. They hold my microphone better. Typically, I prefer to wear full-on suits. I think we'll keep it that way. But we get to a certain time of the night where we tag team these sort of things, if I'm honest. Gabe's job is, hey, call Matt, and Matt will wake up and get on the air in this. Hadn't got quite to sleep yet on this one, but that's how we kind of tag team these to make sure that we have somebody watching from all different angles in this point here. So let's do a longer track on this for a moment. If you assume about 20-ish miles per hour, 20 to maybe 25 miles per hour. Let's get a time on how long this one could hold together there. So let's extend that out a little farther than that. This is assuming about 25 miles per hour. So let's make it a 60-mile length there. And so kind of at that speed, we show that getting to Hollandale about 3:05 a.m., closer to Rolling Fork there, about 3:49. So Gabe, we probably do need to do a tag in at some point here on this. I'm interested to see, before we do, let's get to the warning here and see if they choose to extend. We'll check this a couple different ways, but I think we'll kind of go back over here and check our radar out of the Jackson area, which I think has one of the better shots at this. I thought Cleveland's not showing up. There it is. Just tons and tons and tons of lightning, that's for sure there. My job is talking about Gabe's hair. Oh, everybody's out and awake with us early this morning, aren't we? 1:44 a.m., that's the way that kind of goes. Looking here, I do not see any information coming from Jackson on whether or not they're considering extending this. Wouldn't blame them if they did, wouldn't blame them if they didn't. A lot of lightning, but not a lot of reports coming out of this at this time. So again, you can see where Cleveland is there. This is, oh man, I missed this when I was in West Texas, so we can count city grids, right? So 1 mile, 2 miles, 3 miles, 4 miles, 5 miles, 6 miles, 7 miles, 8 miles west of town. Again, assuming that each of these blocks there is a full section, which let's double check that. That's one of the things from my days in Kansas and Texas, or do that, yep, for each a section, so you can count off the miles, just looking at the sections there. So yeah, about 7, 8 miles west is where that's the strongest. They have gone ahead and allowed that warning to expire. Again, we have not had very many reports out of this, haven't had really any reports. Check behind the scenes here. See if you guys have sent in anything on hold on. There we are. See if we've had any new reports coming in. Do not see any new reports as of now. So a good sign there. Let's widen it back out. Let's address some of these storms here. Louisville, Columbus, Macon, Starkville for a moment. Again, a lot of loud thunderstorms here. No severe thunderstorms here. Out of any of these below severe limits. And if you look at these, so for example, this whole cluster of storms, I'm not going to change the width of the shot at all, but you can see on this cluster here, there's about 283 lightning strikes. If I just pan it on over, come up north, in the same camera view, we have 2,680 lightning strikes. So 10 times as many lightning strikes out of these storms. So for comparisons, on the whole screen here, we have about 3,100 lightning strikes, and almost every one of them is covered up by me right there in this cluster. Just a few power outages there in the Gunnison area. Appreciate James Bishop with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers for his comment there. Always doing a great job, again, making sure. I've said this before, and I'll say this again. Hardest working person in Mississippi weather is James Bishop with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers. Is and always has been. You can bank it. We work hard here at Mississippi Live Weather, but James with the Storm Chasers there makes us look lazy some days. He puts in some very, very long hours, always has. And so we appreciate him and all of his reports and all the folks there at North Mississippi Storm Chasers that do pass along reports of what they're seeing. And we're looking a long, long ways away there from the radar site in Monroe County. And if we look from the Jackson area as well, those storms, again, some gusty wind. Checking our True Shield hail threat. We have seen, again, some hail potential out of this, but I think they're just extremely electric. We have not had a lot of reports. So I think we'll go ahead and shut this thing down here in a minute. Appreciate everybody for coming alongside us here in Mississippi Weather, Mississippi Live Weather. All of you guys there for supporting us. Support all those people like the Eat With Us group, Harvey's, and everything that they have. Sweet Peppers, The Grill, of course, First Choice Bank, Hannah there, Hannah Freeman, Realtors, all the folks that have kind of stepped up with us here on Mississippi Live. Support those folks that support us, And we'll be able to keep on doing this here. Mama Justice, IMPC, and of course, Room to Room for sponsoring our Room to Room Weather Center here. Okay, our next live broadcast, scheduled live broadcast, is going to be coming up here at 6:30 a.m. Our meteorologist Maggie McCauley with updates there. I'm betting that if we have another one of these that we see, that Maggie will be the person that you end up seeing on camera there. Gabe, of course, watching behind the scenes. If they end up turning around and immediately reissuing this, then that'll be something that I pop on for. But I don't really think we're going to see that happen. Let's get one more longer track before we wrap things up here. Give me a moment. I'll pop that kind of back on the screen for you. Again, assuming about 20, 25 miles per hour, and that could be a little fast on this. Make this a 1 hour loop. And it's not super fast. That's pretty close. So heading southward. Again, no longer severe thunderstorm warning on this there. We'll leave it on the latest scan so it doesn't kind of keep popping that on. So some Benoit there at about 152, Dermot at 151 there. Some strong wind gusts. Again, a lot of lightning. That's the biggest deal with this as it heads southward at about 25 miles per hour. Maggie's going to be here again in the morning. I mentioned this a moment ago, starting at 6:30 a.m. at the latest. There clearly will be some thunderstorms ongoing at that time, and we'll continue to have more overnight. We'll bring updates here as necessary. Keep it here for the latest. And again, thank you so much for supporting us here on Mississippi Live.
Work harder and believe